Sitting atop the Watchtower in Gotham City, the Nerdy Knights are here to bring you some great comic book content. I am one of your hosts. Some call me Snarky, some call me a friendly neighborhood superhero, but you can call me Ben, the Ridiculous Riddick. And my wonderful co-host has a gift for science and likes the color pink. From San Francisco, Honey Lemon. Anna, the not-so-ridiculous Riddick. Say hi, Anna.
Hello, Anna.
That's your... God damn it. Guys, this is episode 5 of the Nightly Novels podcast, where we pick out a book every week to sit and talk about, like a book club for comics. And this week, we did Batman, The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller. And I think Frank Miller. Pretty sure Frank Miller did a lot of the art in this, too. With, some other inking people. Anna, you read it.
Yes, I did.
That's good. Because we found out that I might have almost read the wrong comic book in a different one. Before we start talking about the book, though, we're going to talk about our active poll list, which is going to be different than last because I said so. So, Anna, last week you mentioned reading Batman and Robin Eternal.
Yeah.
What other things have you...
The Bombshell comics.
The Bombshell comics.
Yes. Which I think are really interesting. It's a very feminist, where all of the superheroes pick up in World War II. And so cool. They're their own private entity that's trying to make peace with the world. But it's only females. No men. It's better than Wonder Woman.
Okay, well, we're not talking about Wonder Woman today, Anna.
But it's a better adaptation.
Gotcha. Is it superheroes that, like, mainstream superheroes, or is it just different superheroes in that era?
No, it's mainstream. There's Batgirl, there's Supergirl, there's Stargirl, there is...
Gotcha. So these are what all the Bombshell statues are made after.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
There's actually a comic book.
Whoa. Who knew? Who knew? Not me. And I love comics. And I personally, I've been going back and reading my favorite Spider-Man. Just because I recently watched the trailer for Captain America Civil War and got that first glimpse of Spider-Man just swinging in and web zapping the Captain America shield and stealing it. Got me all hyped up for Spider-Man again, because again, I really like Spider-Man. I'm a big fan. So I've been specifically rereading The Death of the Stacys because I enjoy death. Why not? And I also reread Spider-Man Blue because we talked about Daredevil Yellow last week, and that just got me in the mood for some good old blue Spider-Man. So this week's comic, The Dark Knight Returns, is written by Frank Miller, and a lot of the art is done by Frank Miller. This is a very different Batman comic than most people are used to. It's set in a future version of Gotham City. Bruce Wayne, for some reason, has stopped being Batman, and Gotham City has not seen Batman in 10 years. And people are starting to see that crime is rising again, and there's this new gang out there called the Mutants.
But there is no Wolverine.
But there is no Wolverine, because that would be weird for DC to have Wolverine in their books. And they're just assholes, these mutants. But so the book starts off, Bruce Wayne's in retirement, but he's doing some weird race around Gotham City where he almost kills himself. Harvey Dent is being released, and they cured him with plastic surgery. So he's no longer on the outside. He's no longer physically Two-Face, but maybe he's still a little crazy. Batman meets this 13-year-old girl, Carrie Kelly, who's being attacked by the gang. Kelly buys herself an imitation Robin costume and decides that she wants to be the new Robin. And for whatever reason, Batman accepts, even though it seems in the beginning of the book that one of the reasons Batman stopped being Batman was because of the death of Jason Todd. So we're living in a world where Jason Todd has died and probably is not the Red Hood. So because these mutants are out there, Batman comes back, surprises everyone. But you start to see these scenes between the President of the United States and Superman, because Batman is, he's Batman. He's not killing anyone, but he's making everybody that he comes in contact with wish they were dead, because they're essentially going to be drinking out of straws for the rest of their life. And the President discusses with Superman that he's going to need to take care of Batman and get him to stop. Which I found kind of interesting, because it seems like the President in this book is using Superman as his own personal nuclear deterrent. And this is kind of this is a world where the USSR is still a big entity, because that's who Superman ends up going out and fighting during a lot of this, is some communists. After all of this happens, the return of Batman also stimulates the Joker to kind of awaken at Arkham Asylum. You start to kind of see these random images of Joker throughout the book, where you start to see that every time Batman is mentioned, that he kind of like twitches and comes a little more to life. And essentially, because the Joker comes back, he kind of manipulates his doctors to get him on TV, kills a bunch of people, and everyone actually starts to blame Batman's return for the Joker happening. And eventually Joker goes to this carnival, or this fair, and in this like last fight between Batman, Robin, and Joker, Joker almost dies, and at the very end, when Batman actually kind of stops, the Joker commits suicide by breaking his neck, by breaking his own neck. Which, gotta give props to someone who can break their own neck, because I don't feel like the way that he did it was something that I could do.
Well, Batman broke some of it on his own.
I guess, yeah. So essentially, this is the classic woman's trying to open the mayonnaise jar scenario, where Batman tried to open the jar, but really all he did was loosen it, and the Joker just took it and popped it right off. So yeah, that makes sense. And then, of course, in this confrontation, the Gotham police is trying to capture Batman and sees that Batman supposedly killed the Joker. And this is where like a citywide manhunt for Batman begins. And then it kind of flashes back to Superman doing, stopping Soviet nuclear warheads from going off in the United States. Until Superman kind of comes back to Gotham, meets Bruce Wayne, and says, "Look, we're gonna have to deal with this. Where are we gonna deal with this? Because if you're gonna keep being Batman, I have to remove you from the picture." And so Batman pretty much says, I want to do this in Crime Alley, and this is kind of where you start to learn what happened to the rest of the Justice League, because you see Oliver Queen come back, wanting to kind of be there for Batman in this final confrontation with Superman. Batman, knowing that he might die, kind of goes all out. He's got this big-ass tank Batmobile. He's in Crime Alley. He's wearing the big, like, Batman exosuit, essentially if Batman were Iron Man. suit, kind of like the one that you see in the trailers for Batman vs Superman, and they go at it.
That one's cooler though.
What one's cooler?
In the movie. Or at least in the trailer, it looks cooler.
Yeah, for now, who knows? During this fight, it looks like Superman's kind of about to win. He's broken the exosuit that Batman's wearing. He's ripped off the mask, exposing that Batman is Bruce Wayne. And then at the last second, Oliver Queen shoots a kryptonite-tipped arrow at Superman that greatly weakens him, and Superman is pretty much near death, and Batman is just standing there doing this monologue of, I just want you to know that it took me years to make this, and a lot of money, and I still have a lot of time and a lot of money, and I could have made this a deadly dose of kryptonite for you, but I did not. So I need you to remember this. And then supposedly Bruce Wayne has a heart attack and he dies. But he dies, and Alfred kind of blows up the Batcave, Wayne Manor, all of it. And then at the funeral, everyone's there. Clark Kent, Carrie Kelly, Gordon, Alfred, all of these people are there, and as everyone leaves, you see Superman stop, and you see that Batman's heart is still beating, and Clark Kent kind of looks at Robin and winks, and then after that you kind of learn that Wayne had a drug that kind of made him seem dead. Essentially, he Romeo and Julieted it. So this was a by far longer book than last week's Daredevil Yellow. So that's the summary. So Anna, let's talk about the story. What did you think about the story?
I hated it.
Really?
So, I did. Have you ever read Batman and the Boy Wonder?
No, I have not.
Okay. Well, it's very similar to that, where they totally changed the character, in my opinion, of Batman into being some huge jackass, essentially, in my opinion.
Batman is a huge jackass.
Not that much. And quite frankly, they changed his whole persona of the... I don't know how to describe it. There's this one point in the story where he's like given the option when you first see him come back as Batman on disarming the criminal or severely injuring him or killing him. And he chooses severely injuring him, which in my opinion isn't exactly what you see in most of the comics. And I don't know. I really don't like it. I didn't like it.
But here's the thing. If you look at Frank Miller's history, like what he writes 300, he writes Sin City. He writes pretty gruesome stuff. And I think he just took a gritty approach to Batman. And I think, I honestly believe that a lot of the inspiration for Christopher Nolan's Batman came from Frank Miller's Batman. That's my personal belief. And I'll tell you what, one of the things that I've been really excited about with Batman vs. Superman is when they announced Ben Affleck as Batman, and then started showing pictures of how he was like an older kind of guy, all I could think of is, oh my God, Batman vs. Superman is just going to kind of be The Dark Knight Returns in this new telling of Batman. So I guess in that sense, would you be upset if the Ben Affleck Batman was like this Batman?
I don't know. And the main reason being is I think a lot of the things that bothered me about this Batman was the lack of relationships. Nightwing's my favorite. So like with there not being any relationship, even with the fact like they don't have him even acknowledging or like saying
they mentioned Dick Grayson,
and they mention how he hasn't talked to him in 7 years. So all those relationships that I really enjoy in the other comics with Batman and Nightwing and Batman, Robin Eternal are the relationships that are built between those characters. And in this series, it kind of disconnects those into being non-existent and never existent.
Yeah, but I mean, we see that with Bruce Wayne all the time. He pushes these people away. And I think once he got rid of the Batman persona for so long, that is the reason why he lost these friends. And I think that's a big reason to why they weren't mentioned, is because Batman or Bruce Wayne isolated himself after he stopped being Batman. I mean, the only person he talks to is Commissioner Gordon.
And Alfred.
Well, yes, and Alfred. Of course he talks to Alfred. But I feel like because of this, he kind of pushed those people away. Like, what gave his life purpose after his parents were murdered was being Batman. And now that he can't even be Batman, I think it makes sense that he would push so many people away. But you do see him start to bring those relationships back. I mean,
in an unbelievable speed, because he accepts Carrie as the new Robin at an unrealistic exception speed in comparison to when he takes in
Tim
Drake.
Yeah.
And I like Tim Drake. And
you didn't like Carrie Kelly?
I can't really say I didn't like her, because I liked what she brought out in Batman after she became the Robin.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I mean,
but I would not be upset if she had never become a Robin.
Gotcha.
Personally.
So, one of my theories is that whoever the Robin is in Batman vs. Superman, it's going to be a Carrie Kelly. Because we already know that this is a world where Jason Todd's dead. Joker's already killed Jason Todd.
In the movie?
Yeah, in the movie coming out. Or at least that's what I assume watching the trailers, because you see a Robin costume with spray painted ha 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 jokes on you in the trailers. So I mean, I imagine that Jason Todd is dead in this. So I mean, I really believe that this is the Batman we're going to be seeing in the movie. I mean, they take the costume from The Dark Knight Returns and use it in Batman vs. Superman. I mean, it's the same logo. It's the same kind of bat symbol. It's the same kind of color scheme. And then there's the exosuit, which I've only seen in the comics twice. And one of them is in the New 52 and the other is in this.
Well, there's the robot suit that
Commissioner Gordon
wears.
Oh, yeah. The Batwing suit?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that doesn't count.
That totally counts, because he's Batman for a period of time.
Okay, fine. So as far as Batman stories go, is this one that you wouldn't particularly recommend for people to read?
No.
Would you
especially if they want to continue reading Batman, because this is essentially a completely different universe.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing that you have to think of with Batman is there's a lot of Batman out there. Like one of the big questions that people ask me all the time is, Ben, I want to read Batman, but I really don't know where to start. So this is not one of those books that you do not start here.
I would not start here.
Okay. I mean, did you like any of the characters in it?
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Well, I personally thought I like this storyline in the sense that I think it's really interesting that they've kind of done away with all of the superheroes except for Superman. When, in all honesty, in Superman books, it's like Superman, especially in this book, Superman is killing people. Like, he is shooting jets out of the sky. He is sinking aircraft carriers. He is killing these people. But yet he is the one that's allowed to be out and about.
But that's my point also about it, is the fact that this comic book is changing all of the characters into having a completely different personality or
Yeah, but I mean, besides Batman, I feel like most DC heroes are typically not afraid to kill people, though. Like, it's not an uncommon thing. I mean, at least that is what I have noticed. But no, I mean, I thought it was an interesting story, and I liked the characters. It was just like that kind of world thing where I'm like, what the hell are you doing? The one question I had during that entire book is, why was Barbara Gordon not ever mentioned? Like, they mention Commissioner Gordon, they mention his wife.
Yeah.
But not once do I get a mention of Oracle. Which
didn't they did mention, though, even his son, the serial killer.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that is a huge thing. So yeah, I thought that was good. But how about the art, Anna? Did you take the story completely out of it and just look at the art? What did you think of that?
I didn't mind the art. It was more gritty, which matched the storyline perfectly. It was just something that I wasn't really accustomed to, not necessarily that I didn't enjoy. It had a lot of hard lines, so...
Yeah, I do agree with that. I mean, the art style was definitely... This is Frank Miller. I think some of my issues with the art in this one is anytime they use the news a lot to describe what's going on.
That bothered me.
Yeah, and sometimes it was kind of hard to follow where it's supposed to read. It did.
A lot.
It did. And I mean, it did help describe the public sentiment of Batman. But they went very deep into detail about the public sentiment of Batman.
Yeah. I did like the Joker. That's a character I enjoyed. I liked the Joker.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of... It is definitely a book where you do really realize how much Batman does create his enemies. Like, to the point where Joker does not really come back to life until Batman comes back.
And the coming of the Joker again, I thought was really nicely done.
Yeah.
And very clear.
So no, I was a fan of that, and I really liked seeing a lot of the art. It was very noir like everything was very dark except for Robin and of course Superman. Like they made those kind of two bright things. So yeah, no,
it reminded me a lot of the Batman and the Boy Wonder, which I think is also Frank Miller.
Is it? I'll have to look that one up.
I just don't like Frank Miller, apparently. Apparently.
Well, you're going to be reading more Frank Miller at some point because those are comics that are on the list. We're going to be reading some. Eventually, we'll read Sin City, and eventually, we'll read 300. So, at least maybe when it's not a character that you know and love, maybe you'll appreciate the Frank Miller aspect of it more. How do you feel you would rate this book on our 3-point scale? For those of you new to the show, our 3-point scale, we do go out and buy it now, wait for it to go on sale or get it on Free Comic Book Day, and pass. I'm going to take a wild guess and say you're going to say pass.
Yeah.
You're going to say pass. You're going to say pass on it completely.
I really didn't like it, and I don't see anybody who ever asks me for comic book advice ever wanting to read it.
Okay. I mean, this is one that I would actually tell people to go out and read. Like, when it comes to people ask me what 5 books they should read from Batman, this one's usually on the list. And I mean, that list also has things like Batman Hush, The Killing Joke. I liked the new run of the Court of Owls, and books like that. So I mean, I rank this book up there with those. So I guess it kind of comes down to who's prettier, me or Anna, and I mean. So yeah, okay. I think that's all I have to. Oh, real quick, Anna. What was your favorite panel?
I liked when Batman presumably dies. I liked the heartbeat.
Okay.
Not because he died. Your face made it look like, no, I didn't like it because he died. I liked it because of the character reactions, and I really enjoy every time they include that heartbeat panel.
Gotcha. For me, I think
it's a visual onomatopoeia.
I think my favorite scenes are when Batman first comes back. So it's like you see all of these crimes being committed, and you really just see like a fist or a boot or a shadow here, and then all of a sudden you see big panel Batman coming at you. That was kind of my favorite part. And yeah, anything else you want to add to that book, Anna?
No. No, I'm good.
Okay. Make sure to catch us next week, guys. We are going to be reading Wonder Woman Hiketeia, a fun Wonder Woman book. And of course, don't forget to catch everything else Nerdy Nights related at nkrn.org. You can find me, Mike DeMarco, and Sam Chen on Nerdy Nights Radio every Monday at 7:30 Pacific time at www.nkrn.org/Twitch. We do a live show about the nerd culture of yesterday and today. Every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Jesus Christ. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Mike DeMarco releases an episode of his Let's Play podcast, which he is currently playing Final Fantasy VII with me, because I've never played Final Fantasy VII, and I guess eventually someone had to make me play that game. Of course, yeah, that's pretty much it. This show is live on Wednesday on our website and YouTube channel, so be sure to like, subscribe, comment, let us know what you thought about The Dark Knight Returns, and tell Anna how wrong she is, or tell me how wrong I am. Who knows? I guess there's a possibility that I could be wrong sometimes. But yeah, that's pretty much it. You guys can find me on Twitter at BRidiculous. That's BRIDDICKULOUS. Guys, until next week, Excelsior.